Hello everyone,
Hello.
and welcome to our Codex review of the new Astra Militarum.
There it
Look at
is.
it. Look, it's him. It's
where is he?
Leonidas.
Yeah.
Leonidas.
Lord Solar.
Lord Solar Leonidas.
Very cool, man.
Of course,
I
it's
love it.
Leontis, but we are going to call him Leonidas because it's way cooler. So yeah, there you have him on the front cover. How cool is that front cover? Right? Leonidas, look at him.
This book is so cool. Like the artwork throughout it.
Yeah,
is so
the
good.
artwork in this book is actually very cool. So today we're gonna be basically doing a walkthrough of the Codex, but you know, because the channel is focused towards competitive, you know, and being competitive and trying to get the most out of your units that you can do.
Yep.
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through the book, reading some rules out, and then having a look at the different units and saying which ones are good and which ones are not so good in the current meta. So that's how we're going to look at things.
Yes.
So obviously there might be some stuff in there that we're like, oh, actually that is pretty good, but just not in the current meta.
In
You know,
certain
like
scenarios, in
yeah.
time, it might be good, but
Exactly.
right now, not quite.
Exactly. So that's the mindset we're going to go through this book with, as we normally do with Codex reviews. So yeah, we thought we'd do a live. We didn't have time to do a faction focus on the Guard yet because, of course, they haven't been used in any events. A lot of TOs are, like, you know, banning them.
Disallowing them until
Yes,
the full
until
release.
the proper release comes out, because obviously you can't get this Codex outside of the Cadia Stands box currently.
Mhm.
So a lot of TOs are saying you cannot use the new Astra Militarum book, which is fair.
Yeah.
You know, that's totally fair. That's how they want to do it. So that means that we haven't been able to get any tournament data, what is actually doing well in Guard in the current meta. So we couldn't do a faction focus, but we thought we'd do a detailed walkthrough and explain, you know, all the things that we think are good and why. Waz is in the house. First of all, yeah, we want to say hello to everybody watching today. Waz is eating McDonald's share boxes
Enjoy.
and triple cheeseburgers and stuff. You absolute hero, Waz. We've also got Cold Ash, Sylvester, Ash Loftus, all these people in the house. Hello, you awesome people. Sylvester says artwork epic, the model meh. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The model looks a little bit disappointing.
There's going to be a lot of cool conversions done of him, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, Codex is out the 14th of January for pre-release, I'm told. Oh, that's interesting. So the Codex should be coming
End of January then?
end of January. That is pretty cool.
Won't be an OVO then.
Yeah. Oh, Sylvester's just said a lot of good things here.
Ooh.
Solar, Creed, Command Squad with Relic Banner. I've been looking at the Relic Banner. I just showed Aaron the Relic
There's
Banner.
a bloodthirster there who's crying.
Yeah,
he's right there.
Poor bloodthirster on the shelf over here.
He's
with
crying.
with his face cap, and he's like, oh god, there we go. Steve says Cadia sucks balls.
What Cadia?
Oh, this is what Cadia?
What
Cadia's
Cadia?
gone.
Where's
man.
Cadia?
Nah, Cadia stands.
Chaos.
Cadia stands. Yeah, Chaos are the real good guys.
Yeah.
Right, so there we go. We've ranted a little bit. We've said hello to everybody. Now that's given time for people to join. Like we say, thanks for joining today, guys. And I want to say as well, if you enjoy our content, guys, hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell on the, you know, on our YouTube channel, so that you know whenever we release videos. So that you don't miss them. Basically, you'll get a notification then, and you can watch any videos that we put up.
Yep.
Pretty cool. Sashiru Hanma says, so yeah, Guard is cool and all, but Flamers in Thousand Suns is way cooler. Flamers in Thousand Suns are badass. Is what they are. They're top tier, man. Top tier. Cadia Stand 2.0, now we rebuild. Yeah, that's it, man. Right, let's run through the book then. Let's go through this Guard book.
Yes.
And see what it's all about then. Go on, Aaron. Start us off. This first detachment abilities page. As we're getting in every codex now that covers a few ground rules. What have they got here?
The main thing is that there's a chain of command, similar to other things. So it says that, you know, troop units gain OBSEC as normal, and then a few other things have different, you know, roles and everything. But the main thing is you cannot select an Astra Militarum character model that is not an officer to be a warlord if your army contains any warlords, any officers, You can include a maximum of 1 commandant in each detachment.
A commandant.
A commandant.
A
So
commandant.
a commander of sorts.
Commandant.
And then you cannot select any other officer to be a warlord if you have a commandant, with the exception of Lord Solar Leonidas.
Leonidas.
So basically, it's similar to GSC. There is the tier of who can be your warlord depending what your army contains.
Yeah.
The most powerful man has to be your warlord.
But if you take Leonidas,
he has to be your
the
warlord. So that's the
hey, we got Bolos in the house. How you doing, bro? Good to have you here, man. Gareth Evans in the house as well. My poor scions have been neutered due to the new Cassicans. Yeah, Cassicans are beasts right now, man. Yeah. Right, yeah. So so basically that's just the chain of command is just telling us who needs to be a warlord and stuff like that. And of course, everyone gets born soldiers, right?
Yeah.
All detachments that are full guard gain the regimental doctrine born soldiers. Of course, you can swap it out for 2 custom traits.
Yeah, so
but born soldiers seems to be the best one in my opinion, because there's one that's a close second.
Yes, which is
right, which is what we'll talk about in a minute. That is called mechanized infantry. So we'll talk about that in a second and why. But the reason why I think it's a close second, guys, right? I'm just gonna quickly mention one thing about it. Because units with the doctrine gain mechanized keyword, right?
Yep.
Units with this doctrine can disembark from a transport model. So that's the only bit I'm going to read of it so far, because we talk about born soldiers first. But it says units with this doctrine that disembark out of a vehicle. So that tells you one thing straight away, right? It only affects infantry. It can only affect units that are in transport.
Tanks don't get affected by it.
Exactly.
Artillery don't, whatever.
However, born soldiers affects everything.
Yes.
Rogel Dawn tanks, tank commanders, Lehman Russes,
artillery,
Cassicans,
Hydras, everything.
Absolutely everything in your army gets affected by born soldiers. And that's why. Because I think the benefit of born soldiers and the benefit of mechanized infantry are very equal, very level, right? They're both very, very good. However, this one affects everything in your army. The other one doesn't. I mean, you can tool towards it, but this one overall, I think this one is the one we're going to see more than the other one.
Because it will affect every type of build.
Yeah. So what does it do, Aaron? What does born soldiers do?
Well, it's very similar to what Guard currently have with Hammer of the Emperor. So basically, every time that a unit with this doctrine makes a range attack, an unmodified hit roll of 6 automatically wounds, and the extra bit now counts as a 6 to wound for any rules purposes. And it also gives them the ability to use leadership for other officers as their own. But the main thing is it gives them 6 to stay auto wound and counts as a 6 to wound.
Yeah. For
your entire army.
It's called using the leadership characteristic of
officers.
Of officers, because that's pretty good, man. Because you got to remember as well, it doesn't just give you +1 leadership like chaplains and stuff. You could just use their leadership. Which is quite good. Man.
It's not bad. Yeah. But the main thing is the 6 to auto wound.
Yeah.
And counting the 6 to wound, there are certain abilities, certain stratagems that are affected based on 6s to wound, like we've seen in other books.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they've added essentially that part to what is now Hammer of the Emperor is very good.
Yeah, and also, I like this bit here where it says officers gain the aura, right?
Yeah.
And then platoon units within 6 of the model gain stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because platoon is just a keyword now.
Yes.
Right? It's not, it doesn't matter what regiment they are.
No,
they'll just use any commander's leadership, which I think is actually very good.
That's
right?
a big thing to say in the Codex now. Things like Cadian, Katachan, Historian, all that, they're no longer like choices that you give your army.
Mm-hmm.
They are units that have those keywords that you then choose your own doctrine. All doctrines are custom, minus Born Heroes, that is the one they get.
Because look, see, this is the kind of thing that I like, right?
Yeah.
So it's not +1 leadership, it's actually plus a lot, because Leonidas is an officer.
He is indeed.
Leonidas officer, and he's leadership 10.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's leadership 10, so everyone within 6 inches of him becomes leadership 10. And guardsmen are what, like 7?
6 to 7.
Yeah, 6 to 7.
Yeah.
So they get like +3 or 4 leadership within range of him. That's a good buff to have, Like,
it's right,
so even Cadian shock troops, leadership 7. And then even like just a regular dude as well. Like, where is he? The guy I was thinking of. The Commandant.
Oh, he's 9.
Yeah, the Cadian Castellan.
He's 9.
He's 9, man. Good. Like, everyone within 6 inches of him is leadership 9. They're braver than Marines.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think it's a good
cool.
little thing to have, because leadership is a thing. And there's quite a lot of things in the game now. And, see, this is the thing. There's quite a lot of things in the game now that can, like, drop your leadership and they get benefits to it and stuff like that. And they can do cool things with that. Like, for example, right? This just says they have the friendly aura-born soldiers, right?
Yeah.
While a friendly platoon unit is within 6 of this model, models in that platoon unit can use this officer's leadership characteristic instead of their own.
Yeah.
Can use this character as a leadership characteristic instead of their own. It doesn't say in the morale phase or when taking morale tests or anything like that. It just says can use his leadership.
You can have this guy 6 there, you here. Demons want to come down.
Exactly.
You're using that guy's leadership, not the one that's being affected by
Exactly.
your own.
So say, like, you know, you're normally leadership 7 on your sergeant, and demons go, I'm a -2 off that. I'm going to come in 5 inches away.
No.
And you go, actually, they're Leonidas' leadership, which is 10. So you can -2 to that is 8.
Demons
you're coming
really
in 8
don't
away.
like this book.
Right? So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's a very, very cool thing
Very
to
good.
have. So there's that, and the fact that you get 6s to hit auto wound, and they counter 6s to wound.
Very
you
good.
know? I did think, you know, and the amount of books that they've released that have said 6s to hit, auto wound, and counter 6s to wound has gone off busted so many times
Heavy
that they've
rail
learned their
rifle,
lesson and not do this.
Magna Rail
Right.
Rifle flashbacks.
But they've not, right? So there might be something to come for that, but,
I'm sure there
we'll
is.
see. Sylvester says, born soldiers and mechanized infantry, manny on your carskin sand, you're in a sweet spot. Then for 1 CP, you jump back in your transport. Yeah. We've been looking at that. For our army that we've been talking about as well, that, you know, we're going to be showcasing on battle reports very soon, hopefully. Eventually, you know, when we can get Leonidas and stuff like that. Of course. I mean, we will be having guardsmen on the channel before then.
Yes.
But we'll just have to use the models we have access to and, you know, show them off and see.
There's
how
still
they
a lot
go.
of good stuff we have.
Yeah,
you know?
there's still a lot of good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Right, so there are a bunch of regimental doctrines that you can take instead. We're only going to cover 2 or 3 which we think are quite good.
Yes.
So which ones do you think are good, Aaron, and maybe worth taking?
Well, the first one is the one you mentioned,
Yes.
which is mechanized infantry. So even though it only affects certain units in your army, the effect that you get is so big that it is a build around. This is
That's what I
something
mean. You can build around it. You could take, for example, because it affects, you know, like we said, things that get out of transports.
Yeah.
You could take 6 troop squads and 6 transports for them.
Chimeras,
3 Kassakin squads, 3 transports for them. You know, you could do that kind of stuff, and all of a sudden you've got like 9 or 10 units with 9 or 10 transports.
I mean, we've seen things like Devilfish being able to do that and move out, or Truck Boys.
What do they do though? What is the ability?
So the ability is that units with this doctrine can disembark from a transport model after that model has made a normal move. But then they cannot move again and they cannot charge, but they can shoot, which is the big thing. It allows you to disembark after the transport moves, basically. Which basically means that they get the distance of movement of the transport themselves, which is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good to get these transports out and then be able to move them again, and maybe on the turn 2 get these infantry out, start shooting, get all the buffs up there, like you said, on things like Kassakins that are very powerful. And I think that something like this is definitely something you can build around with, as you said, loads of different infantry squads and transports.
Yes, yeah. But they can just disembark. They can't then move.
No, that's the thing. They cannot move after. It is just a disembark, but it's a 3-inch disembark plus the movement of
the vehicle. Yeah.
So you
the
get
transport. Yeah,
quite a lot of threat range with that.
Yeah. And again, that's only like if you decide to use it. So if your if your vehicle is behind a wall, for example, and you figure that going around the wall, because it's just a normal move.
Yes.
After the vehicle has made a normal move, not an advance. So you will know if your transport will get enough range going around the wall that it'd be worth it to jump out after the transport has moved, or is it better jumping out first and then still moving with your squad? So move a total of 9 inches. So you'll get an idea of whereabouts you need to go and stuff. I do quite like that.
It doesn't work for aircraft, which would be awesome. But they thought of it. They thought
awesome
of
is one word for it, you know. Awesome is one word for it. Oh, that'd be
cool, though.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. Why don't you have a look at the second one that you like?
Yeah, so I quite like veteran guerrillas.
Yes, you were saying.
Units with this doctrine gain the veteran guerrillas keyword because here's the thing, guys. You gain 2 of these buffs.
Yes.
So mechanized infantry, you would want to take it with something else. Now, I quite like veteran guerrillas for it. So you gain the veteran guerrillas keyword, and also each time an infantry model, so it's leaning even more into, you know, the type of build you're going for. Each time an infantry or sentinel model with this doctrine makes an attack that targets a unit within 18 inches, the target does not receive the benefits of cover against that attack, which is huge, right? Yeah, I think that's absolutely massive with the amount of things that people are getting cover with. You know?
Absolutely.
If you're building this kind of list as well, quite a lot of your army will be AP 0, and we've seen swooping hawks do a hell of a lot of damage even though they're AP 0 because people take them in the ignorance cover thing, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, with so much Armor of Contempt about, people are touching cover for 2-up saves, right? And then even Weight of Fire struggles to get through 2-up saves. But 3-up saves, a lot of Weight of Fire will get through 3-up saves. Now, if you can ignore the cover on these units that touch terrain for a 2-up,
well, you can see
you can get through.
Ignore cover is essentially giving yourself an AP against an army that doesn't ignore it ignores AP1. So, for example, like normally Armor Contempt ignore AP1. Ignore cover is a way of actually gaining AP1, essentially. So that's a big buff, being able to go out and then within 18 inches of all these infantry units, all these sentinels and infantry, and being able to just worsen the save of your opponent by
For sure, I quite like that. I quite like that one. Is there another one that you think is quite good, Aaron? Or are they the main ones?
Those are the main ones. I think the only other one I like, I know you don't like it too much, Armored Superiority is quite interesting in certain builds as well. Basically, it allows Sentinel models to count as 3 models for objectives, Titanic models to count as 10, and all other vehicles to count as 5. There are ways in the book to make vehicles OBSEC, and I think being able to have like a tank that's OBSEC 5 models, especially in more of like a blitz tank build with maybe like 6 or 7 tanks, could be quite interesting as well. Because you also get that with another doctrine as well, you know, so you could go like, oh, I want to give that and mechanized infantry. So now all my transports count as 5 models on objectives. Which
that's
is
pretty
nice.
good, yeah, because then that's kind of like doubling down on what you're taking, right? Like, so all of your infantry gain the mechanized infantry buffs, and then all of your transports are gaining the buffs from the armored superiority, right?
Count as 5 models, and you know that you can have something like that, which I think could be interesting to look at as well.
Yeah, because counting as 5 models is pretty good.
Yes,
of course it's not OBSEC, but a lot of the stuff getting out of your transports will be OBSEC. Yeah, so
one infantry plus them is 6 models, right?
Exactly. So just by going that way, you'll be giving yourself access to it anyway. Yeah. So that's quite cool. I quite like that. I quite like that. And then I think those are the main ones that are good, right? Those are basically the main ones that are good. I don't think there's any others that are really that good. I think the Cult of Sacrifice is okay. Like, each time a model with this doctrine makes an attack, if the model's unit is below starting strength, you add one to the hit roll.
It's okay. It's okay. Especially if you have dudes in transports. If they get blown up,
if someone kills a transport,
one that dies, so they
1 or 2 die. The rest of the squad will make up for the fact that the 1 or 2 have died, in efficiency. But I'm not sure that's great. I'm not sure that's better than having a transport count as 5 models and 9 of them.
Yeah, right? Because this always has an effect, whereas something like Cult of Sacrifice requires something to happen.
Yeah. What says the only one that counts as both choices isn't that good? Yeah.
Trophy Hunters is the only one that's like all-consuming. If you think about Drukhari or Eldari, which is +1 strength against monster and vehicles. Yeah, I don't know why that one is mono doctrine. It doesn't seem strong enough to be its own thing. So I don't think you'll be seeing that quite a lot as a full army. Yeah. But you can give that again. A bit of spoilers for later. You can give certain units other doctrines, like in addition to what they have. So in that sense, that could be quite nice.
Mark Roberts says, can they advance and disembark? No, they cannot advance.
A normal move.
Yeah, they cannot advance and disembark. The transport has to make a normal move. Yeah. Then they can just disembark. That's it. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you've got that, and then that's it. I think that's the regimental doctrines covered. I don't think we need to cover any more of those.
Those are the ones you'll see.
Yeah, exactly. So now. Let's have a look at some of these strats, Aaron. So why don't you start us off, man? What do you think are some good strats here?
I'm looking at these pages. So there's a lot of strats that I think have nice use. One of the best things in this book is that most of the strats are 1 CP. Like most of them are 1 CP. So there's a lot of the strats that you'll end up using in certain scenarios and certain not. Mm-hmm. The blue ones here. This is quite interesting. So 1 CP. Use stratagem in any phase when a Militarum Tempestus infantry unit from your army that has been within range of an objective marker is selected as the target of attack. So when someone selects you and you're an objective, the attack's wound roll cannot be rerolled and worsen the armor penetration of that attack by 1. So cool. For 1 CP, when an infantry unit is shot, you reduce the AP by 1, and you can't roll the wound roll.
It is Tempestus only.
It is Tempestus, but it's still
Tempestus.
It's still quite a nice one.
Yeah.
But the big one in this page, which I would think is ingrained precision.
For sure, that is the one.
So this is uses stratum in the shooting phase, and it's when a born soldier's unit shoots. So this is when you go born soldiers, when you don't go for a different doctrine, you get access to this.
Yep.
And this is each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack on an unmodified hit roll of 5 instead of 4. That attack automatically wounds the target and still counts as a 6 to wound.
Yes.
So instead of 6 state auto wound for 1 CP, it's 5 state auto wound and counts as a 6 to wound.
That's pretty damn good.
That's very good, especially with certain abilities later on that count again for 6s to wound. Getting essentially double the amount, because now it's 5s and 6s instead of 6s for 1 CP is really, really good.
Yeah, for 1 CP as well. I think that's pretty good for 1 CP, considering the things that you can do. Kind of bonkers that it's only 1 CP, right?
That's what I'm saying. Most of the things in the book are 1 CP, which is, for some of them, are really good. Again, 1 CP, transhuman for Cadian infantry. Cadian infantry, so Cadian infantry squads and everything. 1 CP, they get full transhuman. Any attacks on modified wound roll of 1 to 3 automatically fails. Especially when your guys are toughness 3.
Transhuman
having full transhuman for 1 CP on an infantry unit is very nice for Cadian units. Another reason I like Cadian infantry, man.
Yeah, I think for sure that's actually really good.
Yeah.
Now there's a strat called volley fire as well, but it does say infantry squad. Now I'm assuming the regular infantry squad, they're actually just called infantry squad, like the
keyword infantry squad.
Yeah, they're just called infantry squad.
They have the keyword. If you look at
because I was like, is it going to be infantry or infantry squad? Oh, I see.
They don't have it. So you can do it on normal dudes, or you can do it on like Cadian shock troops and stuff like that. And
Kazachan Jungle Fire's Death Cult.
So your normal guys for 2 CP, if they remain stationary, they can fire twice.
They can shoot twice, yeah. I was just trying to see if Kasakins had the infantry squad keyword, because that would have made it pretty bonkers, but there's not that one. I think Relentless is quite good, actually. Use this strat in your command phase and select an Astra Militarum model from your army, vehicle model. Till the start of your next command phase, the model is considered to have its full wounds remaining. If it is Titanic, it costs 2 CP, otherwise it costs 1. And a Rogel Dawn battle tank is not Titanic.
No.
So you can have a Rogel Dawn battle tank reduced to 1 or 2 wounds, firing at top profile.
1 CP.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's great.
Yes.
Considering the fact it's toughness 9 base, has 17 wounds and a 2+8. I think that's pretty good.
Do you want to read Vengeful Salute, Manny? Vengeful Salute.
Oh yeah, Vengeful Salute. Let's go for it. Oh yes, guys, this one is amazing.
I just saw it.
You use this strat in your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase when an Astra Militarum vehicle model from your army is destroyed but did not explode. Do not remove that model from play. It can shoot after the attacking model's unit has finished making its attacks. While doing so, the model can only make attacks with turret weapons it is equipped with. That model has a ballistics skill characteristic of 5+.
So they hit on 4s, because they get +1 to hit with turret weapons.
Yes, turret weapons get +1 to hits, they hit on 4s. After resolving that model's attacks, it is then removed. If the model has the battle tank or armored superiority keyword, this item costs 1 CP, otherwise it costs 2 CP.
So for battle tanks, and I believe Rogel Dawns, because I believe they're armored superiority, I think.
Ooh, very nice.
I think so.
Yeah.
Definitely for Lehman Russes and things like that.
Yeah.
And let's just see if armor superiority.
Yeah, carry on with your sentence.
Yeah, no, sorry. I believe for battle tanks and for the Rogel Dawns, it only costs 1 CP. And then for other types of vehicles, it costs a battle tank.
Yeah,
the battle tank.
Rogel Dawn has a battle tank.
It might be the super heavies. Are they armored superiority? Sounds like it's a big thing.
It does sound like it's a big thing, right? Like a Lord of
like
War
something
style
huge
thing.
would have armored superiority, and then it would affect
Baneblade No, not got armored superiority.
Well, something that has armored superiority gets to do it 1 CP, and then Rogel Dawns and Lehman Russes are 1 CP, and then presumably other tanks like something like a
armored superiority, mate, is probably one of the trait things.
Oh, isn't it the one that I said that is
probably a regimental doctrine? There you go.
It's the one that counts as objectives.
Yeah, so on the ones where your models count as 5,
then it's only 1 CP.
You can shoot in death for 1 CP.
For like a Baneblade or something like that.
Yeah.
For 1 CP.
Yeah.
Shoots on death.
That's pretty cool, right? So you could do that. So that's what it works on. And battle tanks get to use it for 1 CP. Yes.
Yeah. Only the turret weapons, but still, turret weapons are good.
Yeah, for sure, man. Tree Light Gaming says, "Hi, Manny. Hi, bro. Good to have you in the house, man." Yeah, so we got that. And then also you can give warlord traits. and relics. You can have extra warlord traits. You can have extra relics, which are going to come in useful. I think their warlord traits and relics are actually pretty damn good, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, and then there's one called Battlefield Request, right, Aaron?
Yes, so
This is the one. Read this.
So this is use a stratagem before the battle. When you are mustering your army, select one Astra Militarum model from your army that has the word Sergeant or Watchmaster. So these are the unit champions, essentially, in their profile, and give them one of the following Heralds of Conquest. This must be a relic they could have. There's and then there's a list, including the Barbican's Key, which is a very good one we'll go to, Relic of Loscadia, Emperor's Fury, a few more. Each relic must be unique, and you cannot give more than 2 relics. So it's basically 1 CP, give a sergeant, similar to how other armies like Chaos have it, a relic from this list. And one of them is very good. The Barbican's Key is a very good relic, which we'll get to. So definitely worth that CP. It's nice that they have that as well, so you can give sergeants certain relics. And then obviously a normal one to give your characters relics as well. There's a lot of very good relics and warlord traits in this book, which is nice that you're able to give a few.
Yeah, I also really like Fainting Strike for 1 CP. It lets a Rough Rider unit from your army shoot and charge in a turn they fall back.
Yes,
I think that's very big because Rough Riders are one of your only counterpunch units in this army. But I quite like that they have one. It's kind of the book is giving me a little bit. Book is giving me a little bit of Tau vibes, but with counterpunch. It's Tau, but they do have access to a little bit of counterpunch. Yeah, I quite like that.
They have a bit of combat. They have a bit of nice little.
But they have two little counters to be hitting in combat, right? Like the first one being, 3. I actually think they have 3 little counters to being hit in combat, right?
Yeah.
The first one being that you have an order to be able to fall back and shoot. That's big.
Yep.
Right. The second one being that you have Fainting Strike. So if some of your Rough Riders get charged and survive, even 2 or 3 Rough Riders, they can fall back, charge something, and they can pick up some stuff. It's quite nice to have, right?
They can.
Quite like Fainting Strike for that reason. But also, they have the turret weapon thing.
Yeah.
Where turret weapons now, guys, can shoot out of combat.
Yes.
So that's another thing. If a battle tank gets tagged in combat, its big turret weapon, it can shoot at something else out of combat. Everything else it's got can still shoot at the things it's in combat with.
Yep.
But your turret weapon can shoot out of combat, and it's not like before where it's like, oh, you need all your turret weapons. You need all the other weapons to kill the stuff in combat with you for your turret weapon shots to not be lost.
Just target.
Turret weapons just go anyway. So even if you don't kill everything in combat with you with your other guns, your turret weapon's still safe to fire at whatever the hell it wants to fire at.
Yeah, we will, and I'm going to do it right now. Orbital interference.
Yes, this is the one. And this is what I was saying. I was just talking to Aaron about this.
Officer of the Fleet.
The one from the Officer of the Fleet is pretty good for a 25-point character. Yeah, that's the one, guys. So Bolos, me and Bolos were actually talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the Officer of the Fleet and this stratagem that's good for him.
Yeah, so 2CP, use this stratagem at the start of your reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase.
Yeah.
If an Officer of the Fleet model from your armies on the battlefield, very cheap guide. If it is the first or the second battle round, you can select one of your opponent's strategic reserve or reinforcement units. That unit cannot arrive on the battlefield this phase for any reason, even if it has another rule that states that it always arrives on the battlefield during a specific battle round. Example, drop pod assault. You can only use this stratagem once. For 2CP, you can just say, your drop pod can't come in turn 1.
Yeah, that unit is not coming in this turn.
Or
that
your
so
Bloodthirster isn't coming in turn 2.
Yeah, that's huge, right?
You can't do anything about it. It's not that you can't come in certain range or it's like delay. You just cannot come in. 2CP once per game, you stop something coming in. That is huge.
Pick a unit and it can't come in that turn. Yeah. But it's important to note it's the first or second battle round.
Yeah.
So at least they realise that you can't stop something in reserve turn 3 and it's auto dead. That's very good that they've picked up on that themselves. It's still absolutely amazing. There's quite a lot of units now that can take advantage of the fact that they can come in turn 1.
Yep.
You can just stop that, and then of course, turn 2 deep strikes. There's quite a lot of the time the second turn in a competitive game or in a tournament scenario can be crucial. That second turn,
big turn usually.
Yeah, it can normally be a very big turn, and then if people have to watch what they're looking at, what they're putting in reserve now because you can stop it, that's very big, very big. So I think it's worth taking Officer of the Fleet in your army. Just for that. It's a scare factor as well. Even if you never use this stratagem ever, your opponent always needs to worry about it if he sees his Officer of the Fleet on the table. They have to be like, my crisis suit with this recon drone with my stealth suits, I can't put them in reserve because I want to bring them down turn 1. Yeah, they need to be very wary of the fact that you have that.
Exactly.
Right? I think that's
so
very
just
big.
Being in the book is really big.
Yeah. And also acceptable losses, Aaron. Why don't you talk a little bit about acceptable losses?
This is very cool. Been playing a lot of Chaos, so this is a similar little thing. So use your stratagem in your shooting phase, 1 CP. Select one Astra Militarum unit from your army that is not within engagement range, and select one enemy unit. Until the end of the phase, model in that Astra Militarum unit can target that enemy unit, even if it is in engagement range of other friendly platoon or Grim Darina units. These are like the chaff units, the infantry or rattlings, those things. But each time a model makes an attack against such a target, that attack's hit roll cannot be rerolled, and on any unmodified hit rolls of 1, resolve the attack against a friendly unit. So basically, you can shoot at a combat so long as the enemy unit's in combat with like unimportant units. So
Yes.
to say, which is really cool because normally.
Sorry, is it shoot out of combat or you can shoot into combat? Yes, you can shoot into combat. That's the one.
So basically, if a lot of times your opponent could send like a tough unit, a little chaff unit, and try and wrap them and stay safe. Well, now you can be like, well, I'll still shoot that unit because if I roll ones, I hit my own infantry squad.
Yeah.
But anything else, I literally got like a battle tank shooting into a combat.
Yeah, and that's the thing,
really good.
like a battle tank can do that.
Any Astra Militarum unit for 1 CP.
So that's a fourth little thing that they have to things being wrapped in combat and trapped in combat.
Yeah.
You know, like I was looking at these things and I was like, actually, they do have some, some help when they get hit in combat. They've got some ways of getting out. It's not as dire as Tau.
No.
It's pretty cool. I like the fact that they have got that.
Yeah, because with Tau, unless it's carry on, or unless you have your crisis commander, getting tagged, getting all that is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
With these guys, it's 4 reasons that it's not too much of a big deal.
Exactly. I also do really like flak barrage. I think it's absolutely awesome. You can use it in your opponent's reinforcement step. If they bring an aircraft unit onto the board.
I'm painting my sun sharks, and this is sad.
Yeah, and your Hydra can just pop off at one of those aircraft units. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, 1 CP, basically, you select a Hydra unit that can just shoot when a plane comes on the board.
And the only condition is it can only target an aircraft. But I think that's pretty damn good. I think it's worth taking a Hydra right now, just because it's okay against ground targets. It's not terrible. It's okay against ground targets.
You don't get a penalty for shooting ground targets. You just don't get the bonus.
Yeah, but it's great against Harpies and Sunshark bombers that people are taking in abundance right now in the meta. So it's great for that, right?
Yep.
For sure. Is there anything else that you really like, Aaron?
I'm sure there are. Well, this is the mount up is the one.
Oh, mount up's pretty bonkers, right?
Yes.
Walk us through that, Aaron.
So basically, this is a 2 CP strat. Use your strat during your shooting phase after a mechanized, which is if you go mechanized infantry, or Militarum Tempestus unit, infantry unit from your army has shot. So after you shoot, if every model in that unit is within 3 inches of a friendly transport model, that infantry unit can embark within it. This cannot allow the transport model to exceed its transport capacity. So you can shoot 2 CP, jump back into a vehicle, which is very cool. Very, very cool.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I think that's really, really big. We say cool, but that could be busted.
By cool, we mean this is really strong.
Yeah. By cool,
that's what I mean when I say
this is
cool.
really, really strong. That's bonkers, guys. For some things, that can be absolutely bonkers.
Fire and fade into a transport, basically.
It's huge, right?
Yeah.
It's huge. That is very, very big.
There's some armies that can't pop transports easily,
Exactly. And then we have the overcharged las cells.
Also,
so this is the one to be absolutely bonkers, ridiculous, broken can be. 1 CP. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a Kassakin or Militarum Tempestus unit from your army is selected to shoot. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack with a hot shot weapon, an unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage. Key thing here. A unit. So basically, this is the thing. So every 6 to hit or every 6 to wound, they take a mortal wound. Right? If you use the strat, the one that you use on Born Heroes called Ingrained Precision, it's 1 CP, and then every 5 plus to hit and every 6 plus to wound, they take a mortal wound, right? So you might be thinking in your head now, well, if they've got an order on them that's giving them like 30 shots with these weapons, for example, and they've got rerolls to hit or reroll 1s to hit and stuff like that, you might be thinking right now, well, that adds up to 12 to 15 mortal wounds. Key line here. A unit can only suffer a maximum of 6 mortal wounds per phase as a result of this stratagem. So,
what's interesting there?
You might be thinking, oh, well, that's useless now, or that's not so powerful
it's still
because
good.
A unit can only take 6 mortal wounds from it, but averagely I should do 12 to 15.
Yeah.
We like the way you're thinking here, but you can get around this.
Interesting.
Because it says a unit can only suffer a maximum of 6 mortal wounds, right?
It's nothing
but
to do with you.
Don't get this benefit if you know, there's no There's no stipulation in this stratagem for you to use it. It's not like if you all target the same unit, you do mortal wounds on 6s. So you can, for example, split your Kassakin squad so it's shooting three at one unit, 3 at one unit, and 4 at another unit, right? You can split it that way, and it actually is a lot more even than you'd think, because you're gonna have 2 hotshot volley guns in your squad, and they get 4 shots, right? And everyone else is going to be heavy 3, so they're going to get 3 shots. So what you can do is you can fire 2 normal guys, which is 6 shots, and a hotshot volley gun one way. That's 10 shots.
Yep.
Then the same again, 2 regular guys and a hotshot volley gun another unit. That's 10 shots. And then 3 hotshot las guns, which is 9 shots, and the hotshot las pistol on the sergeant another way. So you can split it 3 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys, but get 10 shots.
Yes.
If you split the right models and the right directions.
Yep.
That Kassakin squad can shoot 10 shots at 3 different units. Right? Yep. That's pretty bonkers.
Yeah.
You should be averaging 5 to 6 mortal wounds on all 3 units if you have first rank, second rank fire on you, and you've got like either reroll ones to hit or full rerolls.
So for 1 CP, the way you can see this is on average, your 10 Kassakins become 9 zone throws.
Yeah.
Because 9 zone throws do 3 zone throws do about 5 to 6 mortal wounds on a smite. So now you've got 9 zone throws.
Essentially,
essentially.
On a 100-point unit.
On a 100-point unit.
I just had to say that.
So
it's too bonkers,
450
guys.
points of zone throws in a turn to the same number of mortal wounds. This does in a turn.
It's just too bonkers. In my opinion, that is too bonkers.
It's kind of cool.
That is just too bonkers.
Is it intentional to be more than 1 unit? But that's how it's written. That's
for the time being. For the time being, it'll be like this. But I'm pretty sure that they're going to do it like you can only when using the stratagem, you can only target 1 unit.
Yes,
you only get the benefit of target.
So
they'll do something like that.
All shots have to be declared at 1 unit, like they usually do with a lot of these abilities. Then say a unit can only be affected by 6 mortal wounds.
Yeah, or it will say something like a maximum of 6 mortal wounds can be suffered as a result of using this stratagem. Yep. So you can still split fire, but it will be like the first 6 that you roll will be mortal wounds. You know, so. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you only got like 4 6s against 1 unit, and then you shot the other one, they could still take 2 mortal wounds or something like that. Like I've seen things like that being done before. That's pretty cool. Bolas does say though, Manio was thinking of adding 2 snipers to the Kassakins with the 5+ auto wound, and the overcharged las cells could do 10 wounds on a character.
Yeah, so the flat 3 damage las
yes,
guy.
Because that's the thing. Kassakins, they have a sniper that's 3 damage. Well, I was looking at that the other day, to be honest, as well. Yeah,
mortal.
I was thinking about that. Yes, look, a hot shot marksman rifle.
Yep.
Right, and it says here, 1 Kassakin trooper's hot shot lasgun can be replaced with 1 hot shot marksman rifle, and the sergeant. Is it the sergeant that does it? Is it only 1? I think it might only be 1. Yeah. Huh. Guys, I think you can only take 1 hotshot marksman rifle. Am I wrong here?
It looks like you can only take 1.
I was going to say there was a reason that it got trumped, because I was also thinking of doing the same thing as you guys, right? But I think I looked at it, and that's what I came to the conclusion of. I thought, because I was like, it says 1, but I bet the sergeant can take 1, but he can't. So I'm assuming you can only take 1 hotshot marksman rifle. In which case, you'd only have 1 shot.
Oh, boo! Yeah,
right.
As Bola says, it's probably only 1 in a year.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking at. But that's still very big, right? Like taking it could be very good actually, because
how many wounds does an exalted sorcerer have, Manny?
5,
3, 4, 5. 1 shot can just kill him.
Exactly right. Like it's flat 3 damage, and then it'll do 2 mortal wounds because it does 1 mortal wound and 1 mortal wound for being a sniper. So a 5 up to hit or a 6 up to wound.
50-50 kills. Exalted sorcerer.
Just 50-50 kills an exalted sorcerer. I think that might still be worth taking.
If you have 2 squads, you should, on average, kill the Golden Sorcerer
That's big, right?
in one shot.
That's really big, right?
That's pretty good.
I quite like that. But yeah, that's the reason I didn't do it, because I looked at it and I was like, I'm losing reliability for the chance to do something. It is nice though, because as well, your opponent may be hesitant then to use characters in the way they want to. Yeah. So it's not just for the fact that it could go and kill a character.
It's the threat of it.
It's always the threat. Your opponent might not be able to use that character in the way that they wanted to because you have that.
Because they cannot risk the fact that, oh well, on a 5-up, and if I fail my 4-up, I've lost my Rahati Sorcerer. They cannot just say, oh, I'm just going to have him out in the open.
Imagine?
They cannot. They have to play hidden because you cannot take that risk.
Yep.
It was mentioned in chat, and I want to say as well, mount up just says friendly transport model. Mm-hmm. It doesn't specify it cannot be an aircraft.
Oh yeah, that one doesn't.
So you could just jump into an aircraft model.
Oh, I could jump into a plane.
And also, like cool. I was thinking, you could jump behind a wall, because if the transport's behind the wall and it's 3 inches, you could just jump through the wall and hide. So there's some weird things I think people can do with mount up. Yeah, the mount up as well, guys. Remember, it says Militarum Tempestus Infantry, or mechanized. That's the thing that you've got to, that you've got to be careful of there, guys. Is it actually only works on Tempestus Infantry unless you have the mechanized keyword. Yep. So that means Kasakins can't use it normally, and neither can any of your regular infantry. You have to go mechanized infantry. You have to go mechanized infantry to do it. Now, here's a really cool thing for you. So one thing you can do, if you look at Kasakins, there's a rule there, Manny, that I didn't see. There's a rule there that Aaron didn't see. I noticed it like straight away, and I was like, "Yeah, this is badass." I haven't seen it. It's the first time looking at the codex. Yeah, and me and Bolos were talking in great depth about this, to be honest. And one unit can be used in a great way. So they have a rule called Warrior Elites. Kasakins do. When you add this unit to your army, you can select one doctrine from pages 60 to 61. So those are the regimental doctrines, custom ones, that no other unit from your army has. This unit has that doctrine in addition to any others it has. In addition to. So you do not lose Born Heroes, but you gain mechanized infantry. That is very good. It's really good for one Kasakin unit. So I would personally, well, this is what I'm going to do anyway for the Battle Report army that I'm slowly building now. I'm going to have a Chimera in there. I'm going to have one Chimera in there. And I'm going to have one Kasakin unit that has got mechanized infantry on them, so that I can get them out of my tank, shoot with them, and get them back. Because I think that's a really, really important piece of tech. I think it's very, very good to have. So that's one thing that I did want to mention with the mount up is, remember guys, people cannot use that on just any infantry unit. So be aware of that. Yep. People could play that wrong. So just be aware that is a thing. It's very easy to get wrong because it just says like infantry unit. If someone doesn't read the Militarum Tempestus bit, they might just think it's an infantry unit that can get into the tank, right? So, be careful of that, guys. But yeah, those are like the best ones, right? Yeah. The last one I wanted to talk about was ablative plating. I actually think this one could be key in some scenarios, right? Yes, yeah. Like if the damage that's being done to one of your vehicles is very close, then this is what you want to be using. Use this stratagem in any phase when a battle tank or armored unit from your army is selected as target of an attack. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack is made against that unit, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack. If the unit has the super heavy or Rogaldorn battle tank, it costs 3 CP, otherwise it costs 2. Now, of course, that can be massive because it could cost you 3 CP on a Rogaldorn, right? However, if this is the difference between the tank dying or surviving, use it. Well, yeah. Because remember, if it lives on 1 wound, what can you do, Aaron? Top profile. You can act on top profile for 1 CP. There'll be scenarios where you hit something like an Eldari army or a Harkonnen army that have loads of flat 2, and you say, okay, well, it's a lot of CP investment, but now I've halved your damage potential, right? And that's really big. And then, so long as I live on 1 wound, top profile, Rogaldorn. Exactly. And that's exactly. So big. Oh, yeah, see, and Bola says that stacks with armored tracks. Yeah, so armored tracks is you get +1 armor save against damage 1. Against 1 damage. So because you are affected by now 1 damage, you get +1 armor save. So if you turn 2 damage down to 1 damage, you'll get +1 save, so you'll have a 1-up save. Yeah, which is huge. Which is massive, yeah, absolutely huge. Right, tank cases, Aaron. Yes. Are there any of these that you think are pretty good? Yes, there is. Which one would it be? I like Meticulous Calibrator on a Rogel Dawn. Each time the model makes a range attack, the target does not receive the benefits of cover.
That's really
You
good.
ignore light cover, dense cover.
Light cover.
The benefits of cover.
The benefits, yeah.
Yeah, so dense cover.
I've had a lot of people say this, right?
Dense cover counts as benefits of cover.
But it says the target does not receive the benefits
So
of cover.
when you're shooting through dense, the target is gaining the benefit of the dense. They don't gain the benefits of dense. So they don't get -1 to be hit.
But see, you know, this is
Because
the thing.
it's not a terrain feature like obscuring.
Yeah, but this is a thing I've always had, right? Is I always try to think about this. And I go, logically, if you're thinking about this, right? The target's not actually receiving, the target's not actually receiving the benefits of dense cover, are they? You are receiving the detriment of dense cover.
Yeah, but the way
you're getting a nerf because you're shooting through dense cover.
The
target's not getting a bonus.
The only types of cover are dense, light, and heavy in terms of that. And if the other guns specify light cover, but guns can't affect heavy cover.
Yeah.
So I think the reason that
it's
they
a bit weird.
specify light
It's a little bit weird, isn't it?
is because of dense.
Yeah. So I do have, guys, the Nephilim book here.
Nephilim.
Sorry, guys, you heard a bit of a going on there.
It's just some sprue.
I had some models on top of this book that are now scattered everywhere.
The dead pile.
They're still safe. It's okay. It's okay. They're still safe. No one broke. Right. So cover here. I do just want to say this because I think a lot of people don't know exactly the way this works, right? And I'm one of them. See, what says, yeah, that is correct. They ignore dense cover raw. Okay. If that is the way that it is, then cool. Because I've never looked it up. Never looked it up because it's never come into play, really.
It's a 20-point upgrade as well. If it does ignore dense and light for 20 points on a Rogel Dawn, that's huge.
Yeah, that's
so
massive.
good.
Yeah, 20 points.
To
That is
Wow.
absolutely massive, right? So I did just want to check that because that's big, right? Light cover. When an attack made with a ranged weapon wounds a model that is When an attack made with a ranged weapon wounds a model that is receiving the benefits of cover from this terrain feature, add 1 to the saving. So receiving the benefits of cover.
You need to see what the benefits
from
of
this
cover
terrain
is. Yeah.
No. So the light cover.
Yeah, but that
says if you're receiving the benefits of cover from this terrain, you get light cover.
Feature.
Yes, so that's saying that the unit is receiving the benefit of cover. They get light cover.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah,
from that terrain feature, and the feature is light cover, right? Because
that's not
the feature that has light cover.
A terrain feature
that has light cover.
Yeah, that has light cover because it's in the light cover section.
Yeah. But what I mean is that
it's saying that if a unit that's receiving the benefits of cover, that light cover counts. So what we need to see is, does dense cover say the same thing? If a unit is receiving the benefits of dense cover from this terrain feature,
right?
Yeah. Which it might say, dense cover. If this terrain feature is at least 3 inches in height, then subtract 1 from the hit roll when resolving an attack with a ranged weapon, unless you can draw straight lines to every part of the target unit from a single point without any of those lines passing. Models that are on or within an area terrain feature with this trait do not suffer the penalty of if the only terrain feature the lines pass across is its own one. Models within, there you go.
Yeah, but let me find the benefit.
Hold on. Yeah, that's it. See.
So, okay, maybe.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Light cover specifically
says receiving the benefits.
Receiving the benefits. So heavy cover counts as receiving the benefits of cover. Light cover, when an attack is made with, against a model that is receiving the benefits of cover from this terrain feature, you get that. Dense cover does not say that. Right?
I guess.
So why would you ignore dense? Because these are the terrain features.
Where, is there a section where it says benefits of cover?
Right, this is what I mean. I'm like, because to be honest, it would make sense. The unit's not gaining the benefit of dense cover, are they? You're gaining the downside of dense. You're gaining the downside of shooting through a forest. That's kind of what's happening there, right?
Because this is the benefits of cover from an obstacle while it's in 3 instead of terrain feature, which is obstacles.
That's
and
obstacles.
That's what I'm saying. Area terrain is what we use, right?
Area terrain, yeah.
Which craters are features? Infantry, beast, and swarm models receive the benefits of cover from area terrain features while they're within it. So this is what people use because they say that they get the benefits of cover.
Models receive the benefits of cover from terrain features while they are within it, right? Yeah.
And then different terrain has different terrain traits. So that area terrain has dense cover, light cover, heavy cover.
So, but hear me out, right? Like light cover.
Jake says that there's a FAQ.
Oh, Jake says the core rules FAQ says you still ignore dense cover if you have a rule that says you ignore the benefits of cover. Perfect. There we go. So there's an FAQ. Yeah, see, but it needs FAQing.
Right.
Because of this. Because, guys, that genuinely says, light cover, that says if a model is receiving the benefits of cover, add one to the saving throw.
Yeah.
So, okay, I agree with you. If you're on dense terrain, you gain the benefits of cover.
Yeah.
Yeah? But the -1 to hit, you don't get that if you've got the benefits of cover. You get that even if you're behind the terrain feature.
But they intended it to ignore. So they had to FAQ it.
What I'm saying is, by the rules, it actually wasn't.
Before the FAQ, that makes sense.
But before the FAQ, it made sense, in my opinion. Because, do you guys agree? Like, I actually think that it's a bit weird that the unit is gaining the benefits of dense cover.
Well, you're going to think of it like in real world, I guess it's like a tree in the way, right? So you're -1 to hit because you're hitting the tree.
Yeah,
and
because you're getting the downside of the tree. They don't have the benefit of the tree.
Yeah, but you're still
getting the downside of the tree.
You're making an attack against them, so it's weird because it's not affecting them; it's affecting you, but pseudo affecting them.
You see what I mean, guys? You see what I mean? It's like it's starting to not make sense, but it's making sense at the same
rules,
time.
Page 127.
So it ignores dense and light cover, which is huge, right?
Ignoring the benefits of cover.
Oh yes, here you go.
If a rule says the target does not receive the benefits of cover, then impose penalties on hit rolls. Then when resolving an attack with that rule, models in the target ignore all benefits received when terrain traits that impose penalty. Example, dense cover.
Yes. So that's the thing. They needed to put that in.
Thank you,
because
Ash.
of that, right? Well done, Ash. You absolute hero.
So 20 points.
It's amazing. That's amazing, right? For
ignore
battle tank unit
and light cover on what is a Rogel Dawn, which is pretty ridiculous.
It's so good, right? But can it only be on a Rogel Dawn?
No, any battle tank, any super heavy.
Look at that. How many points is it for a super heavy unit?
40.
Guys, imagine like a Bane Blade with like 50 shots.
All the sponsons, all the everything,
Ignoring dense and light cover. That's pretty damn big, man.
Oh, yeah.
And also with this one, the meticulous calibrator that you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
You put that on like a Rogel Dawn, and you remember, man, turret weapons get +1 to hit.
Yeah.
So they'll get +1 to hit and ignore dense,
-1.
which is huge, right? Like it means you'll be hitting on 3s, even chewing through forests, which a lot of people won't be counting on, right? So we have that, man. And then Gilles says, if it's harder to hit me, do I not get a benefit? Yeah, I suppose you are getting a benefit. That is true.
Yeah.
Koda says, I mean, if someone is shooting at me and their bullets are hitting trees, that certainly benefits me. Yeah, it does benefit you, but it's detriments them, doesn't it? God, guys, you're not understanding what I'm trying to say. Or maybe I'm just a weirdo. I think it might be that I'm just a weirdo. Like Aiden just said, turrets also shoot out of melee, which is big. Yeah, that's what we were saying before. That you can shoot all of your other shots into combat, shoot your turret weapon out, and not have to worry about, are you going to kill all the units in combat with you, so that you don't lose your turret weapon shots. But that's not a thing anymore. Your turret weapon will always get to shoot, which I think is fantastic, really, in my opinion. Right? That's awesome. Warlord traits, Aaron. Yes. That is what we're on now. Which ones do you think are great?
I like Master Tactician. Basically, it gives you a redeploy for 3 units. 3-unit redeploy. I think redeploy is amazing in the game right now. I think it's so good to have a redeploy, and the fact that it's just 3 units. It doesn't specify it has to be like for example your Thousand Suns one, which would be like D3 plus bearer. It's just 3 units. I think it's really good.
Okay.
Being able to play more aggressively with things like tanks, and then if you go first, be able to use them and if not pull them back. I think it's really good.
Okay.
Which one do you like?
I like Grand Strategist.
Oh yeah.
CP regen, guys. Nice and simple. 5-up CP regen. Each time you spend a command point. So if you spend 3 CP on a stratagem, you get to roll 3 dice.
On a 5-up?
On a 5-up, you get a CP back. I really, really like Grand Strategist because you have so many good strats in this book. So many good strats in this book. And it just so happens that my favorite stratagem is on Leonidas. So if you take Leonidas and you make him your warlord, he gets Grand Strategist.
He's the Grand Strategist.
Yeah. Of course he is.
Mine? Ursula Creed is mine. Yeah, of course.
Leonidas.
Creed is great. She's great.
Oh, and she gives you Master Tactician.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Aaron's favourite character gives him his best warlord trait, and my favourite character gives me my best warlord trait. I think that's awesome. I do also like Old Grudges.
Yeah, it's been changed.
Yeah.
It used to be you select an enemy unit and you get rerolls to wound.
Yeah.
Now it's +1 to wound, which is better in some scenarios.
Yeah.
Worse in others, but I think it's still very strong.
Yeah.
Because
Nice.
it's for any platoon or battle tank squadron. So basically anything within 6 inches of the warlord gets +1 to wound against a certain enemy unit. Certain matchups where there's a big block of something it's very good against Terminator Brick for Chaos or against Knights or things like that. Having +1 to wound against a certain unit is very nice.
That's pretty cool. I was, guys, looking. Oh, what's the chat saying? Tanks can shoot on death too for CP. Yes, yeah, we did cover that. Aiden says when you're sick of one unit and they're shit. Oh, amazing. I was actually looking at the Tempestus Scion stuff as well, because I really want a Scion's army, and it's one thing that we don't have. We don't have a Scion's army. We just tend to use Guardsmen as Scions in our battle reports because we've got different Guardsmen that are painted differently, so we can. We don't get confused. But for battle reports, that's what we're doing at the moment. But it's one of the only things that we don't have is like a Scion army. And I was looking at some of this stuff's really good. I really like their warlord traits. I quite like all of them. It's triple auras. All three of them are auras. I really like the second one. Second one's my favorite one. While a Tempestus infantry unit is within 6 of your warlord, targets don't receive the benefits of cover.
That includes dense, Manny.
Includes dense. That's better than I thought it was. I thought it just ignored light cover, and I would take it just for that.
Oh, you get extra?
I would take it to just ignore light cover, but to ignore dense and light is very big. It's called precision targeting. And I also really like drill commander. While a friendly Militarum Tempestus infantry unit, again, is within 6 of this warlord, instead of following the normal rules for rapid fire weapons, models in that unit make double the number of attacks when shooting with such weapons. You know what that is?
Hot shot.
That is long range rapid fire.
Ah.
Right?
Yeah.
It says instead of following the normal rules for rapid fire, models in the unit make double the number of attacks when shooting with such weapons.
Far away, they get it.
So instead of following the normal rules, they just get their proper rules at long range. Oh, Aiden says, when would you take lead by example? Thanks for your insight. Lead by example.
So lead by example is
this one, yeah. This warlord can issue orders to its own unit, even though you cannot normally select officer units when issuing orders. So you would take this, guys, on a tank commander. Yeah. It would be very good on a tank commander. You could put it on a tank commander, and he could give himself orders. So if we have a quick look, guys, there's a couple of... Because normally a tank commander can't be affected by his own
auras.
His own auras, right? His own orders. Mechanized orders. These are the one, guys. There's a few decent ones here.
I like Gunner's Kill on Sight, which is basically reroll hit rolls of 1 for range attacks.
So there you go, tank commander. So a tank commander can give himself reroll 1s to hit with that.
That's what I was saying earlier. Shock and Awe to give OBSEC. Very nice as well. Your tank commander, needs to go get an objective and be like, I'm OBSEC now, and I can go off and do it.
Yep. I quite like Pound Them to Dust.
Ooh.
Until the end of your next shooting phase, each time this unit is selected to shoot, for the purpose of determining how many attacks are made with blast weapons, double the number of models in the target unit. Yep. Right? To me, that's really
a 5-man unit gets min 3, and then they have 6, that's max shots.
6 is max shots.
Yep.
I think that's huge, man. That's quite big. So I really like that. Like units, people that take 6 flamers. Of course, shooting flamers is harsh anyway, because they've got a 3 of inman against shooting. But if you get max shots with your flat 3 damage execution of plasmas, and you make them take like 8 invulnerables, they fail 3 or something like that, and that's it. Pinning fire is another one.
Nice as well.
Oh yeah, Aiden literally just said pinning fire ? What does that do, Aaron?
Yeah, so models in this unit can only make attacks against that enemy unit that you're pinning. Mm-hmm. If this unit scores 5 or more hits against that enemy unit, then until the end of your opponent's next turn, the unit is pinned, so you subtract 2 from the move characteristic of models in that unit.
Quite good.
Quite nice. To slow down things like your Terminators, anything that's already quite slow, making them even slower is really nice. Yeah, so
that's our opinion, guys. Lead by example is something that you would take on a tank commander, so that he can give himself orders. Especially reroll 1s to hit. I think reroll 1s to hit is the most multi-purpose one.
That's the one you'd most of the time do. It's just great.
Yeah, it's the one that you do most of the time, for sure. There we go. And then we are on to the relics.
The relics.
Now, there's some very, very good ones. Very, very good.
Are there?
Yes. So the first one that pops into my mind is the Barbican's Key.
Barbican's
I
Key.
love the Barbican's Key only.
Yep.
Right.
I'd like to
And as
say,
soon as I started reading this, oh, go on.
No, this is one of the ones that you can give to a sergeant.
Yes, and this is what I was about to say. As soon as I started reading it, I realised that because it says, once per battle, in infantry model only, right? Once per battle, in your movement phase, the bearer can use this relic. If it does so, remove the bearer's unit from the battlefield. As soon as I saw that, I was like, this is going to be one that you can give to a sergeant.
Yep.
So you remove the bearer's unit from the battlefield and set it back up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from enemy models. And you get rerollable charges to the end of the turn, which is great. But basically, you can pick a unit up that's on the board and put it down 9 away. It's like the Veil of Darkness for Necrons. But you can just put it on a sergeant. For 1 CP, a sergeant starts the game with this and they can do that, right? And it just says infantry model only. So like any infantry sergeant pretty much.
Yep.
Right? And
can you do this on like Bogrins and stuff?
I just wanted to check. Well, no, because your thing will tell you. Battlefield Bequest will tell you, right?
Sergeant
has the word
Watchmaster.
sergeant or watchmaster in their profile. So they've got to have sergeant or...
I'm thinking for the reroll charges. You know, is that something cool?
Yeah, they've got to have sergeant or watchmaster in there. Now, Cassakins is the one wanting to check. Yeah, they're called Cassakin sergeants. Yeah, they have sergeants. Now, Bulgrins... No, they have Bonids.
Bonids.
Of course they have Bonids.
Rough Rider sergeant, but they're not infantry.
So you can put that on a Cassakin unit.
Yeah.
So you remember how we were saying one Cassakin unit really wants to be mechanized infantry and you want to take a Chimera for them, and that's how you're going to get the most out of that unit of Cassakins. Now another one you can give the Barbican's Key to, and you can give it that one that I was saying I liked with Ignores Cover as their second
within 18.
So they'll have Born Heroes, and they'll be ignoring cover, and they'll be able to teleport wherever they want. So that's how you use your second unit of Cassakins, right? Because let's face it, guys, if you're being competitive and you're going to a tournament, you're going to want 2 to 3 units of Cassakins.
They're so cheap.
Don't think you're going to want one just in case something happens to them or you lose them unexpectedly, like, you know, in a way that you didn't think you'd lose them. So I think you want 2 minimum. I think you're going to want 2 or 3 because you actually can use them. See, this is the thing. If you couldn't use them all effectively or didn't have great odds of using them all effectively, then you probably wouldn't. But because the chances of you using them effectively are actually pretty high here,
for each one.
You should, right? You definitely should.
And they're 100 points for a unit, right? 10 point a model, you take 30.
Yeah.
At least 20. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing. They're so cheap.
They're so cheap that they will do worth because each one has their role.
So you are going to do that, man. Yeah. Could you give it to Rough Rider? No, unfortunately not, guys. This is yes, infantry only. Yeah, it's infantry only. It's infantry only.
Sergeant off
oh,
the horse.
And then there was another one on that page that you liked, actually, wasn't it?
Crew of Aquila. Yeah, I like it. Basically, Crew of Aquila is once per battle after your opponent uses a stratagem, excluding command reroll.
Yep.
Use the relic, and until the end of the battle, the command point cost of that stratagem costs more. So it's Agents of Vect that Drukhari have, basically, or like Kairos and stuff. I think there's a lot of armies in the game that rely on similar strats every turn. Fire and Fade for Tau and things like that. Being able to just make those cost more.
Yeah.
You do need to balance the fact that you're paying a CP before the game for you to then make your opponent cost it 1 more. So whether it's worth it or not, we'll have to see. But I always like those kind of things. The fact they have options and they have access to it. Because again, it's also meta dependent. There might be in the future an army that comes out that really relies on certain strats, and then that's when something
like 1 or 2 really strats that are really, really key, right?
And that's when that becomes really good.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing for me as well is, like I said, that my favorite warlord trait is Grand Strategist because the book's got so many good strats in it. Stuff. So you need to weigh up as well how many command points you actually want to use before the game, right?
Yeah.
And how many you're going to start with. Because, for example, guys, you're going to start this game, right? You're going to try and cram your army into 1 detachment.
Yeah.
That is what you're going to try
100%.
to do as guard. It's actually quite hard, in my opinion, to play the guard in more than 1 detachment.
Yeah.
Because the relics and warlord traits and the stratagems are quite key.
They're all good.
And they're quite key. They're quite key to the way that you want your army to work, right? So you're going to have your army in 1 detachment. If you take Leonidas, you're going to give him his warlord trait because it's the one that's giving you CP reject, right? So you've got a warlord trait, right? If you want one of the other warlord traits, because there's some quite good ones in there, you've spent 2 CP on warlord traits, right? If you then spend 3 on relics, going to start the game with a single command point, right? Mm-hmm. Now, you are going to give the Barbican's Key, most likely, in most lists, to a Cassakin Sergeant.
Yep.
So actually, if you buy 3 relics for 3 characters in your army, you're going to start the game with 0. And I don't think that's a position you want to be in. I think you want to start with 1 or 2, possibly, right? So I think you can only take 1, maybe 2 relics in your army.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So, and that's if you're going to take the Barbican's Key.
Which you will.
Which you probably will.
You probably will.
So you take the Barbican's Key in your army. So, if you're only taking 1, possibly 2 relics on your army, in my opinion, the Kurov's Aquila doesn't quite make it.
No.
In my opinion, it
fair.
doesn't quite make it. If it was me, I'd be taking my first choice for a relic, because I know you've got one that your eye is just keeps hovering. He keeps looking down at the page.
It's gonna be there.
That would be my second one.
This is my first.
I would take it, but that would be my second one. What is it, Aaron? Go on, hit me with it.
It's Gatekeeper.
Because as I'm talking to him and I'm saying, oh, if you could pick one, he's going. Gatekeeper. He's just constantly looking down at that. Oh yes, Ash does say, don't forget Leonidas can give you 1 back. But that's what I'm saying. You want to start with 1, maybe 2. You know, like it's quite big. I think the CPs are very big in this book.
Yeah.
Go on, Aaron.
Yeah.
Gatekeeper.
So Gatekeeper is for a tank commander that has a battle cannon.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, what it changes in the battle cannon is that instead of D6 plus 3 shots, it's D3 plus 6. So on average, it's more shots. Mm-hmm. It's also strength 9, and it's -3, flat 3 instead of -2. So
strength 9 is quite big.
Strength 9 is big. It's a big break point. Extra AP is big, and extra shots is big. That's why I like it. Obviously, over battle cannon. Obviously, the one that's similar is the plasma cannon. Yep. But it's more shots. It's a bit more range, and it's higher strength, right? I think. Yeah. So those little things, a little bit of less AP, but I still like Gatekeeper. I think it is the relic I lean to first. Nice. But I know you like another one over it.
I like the Finial of the Nemradesh first. I think that is my the Finial of the Nemradesh first.
Of course,
right? Because that is so easy to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I really like this one because you will be taking a command squad in your army with a regimental standard because they are very good command squads. That's amazing. You forgot this was a relic, did you?
Gatekeeper might become second.
This is my first choice, guys. This definitely is my first choice. So. It's a command squad model equipped with a regimental standard only. So when you take like a platoon command squad, the guy with the banner is definitely going to be having
this. Banner, this one.
While it gains an aura. It gains an aura called the Finial of the Nemradesh first. Of course, would you believe that?
It's called the Why Is This a Thing?
While a friendly Astra Militarum core unit, just core guys. Yep. While a friendly Militarum core unit is within 6 inches of this model, right? Of this model's unit. Can I point that out? Right. While a friendly Astra Militarum core unit is within 6 inches of this model's unit. Right? Now that unit, let me remind you.
Can have a lot of dudes in it.
Oh, Ash says so. A finial is apparently basically just a shiny knob on the top of the pole.
So the Nemphidus first has a special golden.
It's golden.
Knob
it's golden.
at the top.
Or I think it would be a crystal knob, to be honest. If it's got this ability, it must be made of something like crystal.
It's made of some diamonds, super ore.
Now, this is what I want to just quickly have a look at, guys. This is what I want to draw your attention to. Platoon command squad, right, has got 4 veteran guardsmen and a platoon commander. So 2 veteran guardsmen can be replaced with 1 veteran heavy weapons model. If this is the case, this unit will only contain 2 veteran guardsmen models. That's key. This is key, right? This is key. You want to take a heavy weapon squad in your platoon command squad. You want to take a heavy weapon squad.
We do.
Because at the moment, you have 4 models and your platoon commander makes 5. Right? You're going to put an officer of the fleet in there for that stratagem.
Yep.
So that's going to be a 6 model unit. You can't stretch so well, you're going to have coherency issues.
You want to have 5.
So what you do is you buy a heavy weapons squad for them so that 2 of the models go into 1. And now you've only got 5 models and 1 of them is huge. One of them is a 60 mil base, bro.
The amount, so you have 60 mil and then you have 4 other guys with a 2-inch coherency training out with their small base. So now you have like about this amount of anywhere around here,
within 6 of
a certain cool thing happens.
Yeah, it's the aura is absolutely massive. This is why I like this relic so much. It's why it's my number 1. Because it says, while a friendly Astra Militarum core unit is within 6 inches of this model's unit, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, you can ignore any or all modifiers to that attack's hit roll. So literally just all. Ignore everything, right? That makes you -1 to hit. And if the attack is allocated to an enemy model, the enemy model cannot use any rules to ignore the wounds it loses. phase caps. This is why that bloodthirster is crying over there, because you ignore phase caps and feel no pain.
Do we remember when the Nightbringer came out?
Yeah.
Why is a guardsman next to this knob a Nightbringer?
Standing next to this pole with a fancy knob on the end of it.
Yeah, as Sylvester's saying, yeah, Bloodthirster, Abaddon, Catans, Gazgul, anything, they are going to get hit by a whole ton of bullets that will just cut through.
It's absolutely insane, man.
Way to fire, man. With the amount that can be in this aura, it's like the fact they ignore like face caps and feel no pains as a relic, as an aura to all core.
Yeah, man. And remember, it says if the attack is allocated to an enemy model, the enemy model cannot use any rules to ignore the wounds it loses, right?
Yeah.
Now, the wounds that you take from the Laz mortal wound thing, they're done as the result of taking wounds from the weapon, from an attack.
Yeah.
So they count as an attack, so you won't be able to take feel no pains against those mortals. No. So you can shoot things like Mortarion.
Yeah.
And just do 6 mortal wounds like that to Morty, and there's nothing you can do about it. Can't use any
and you're not -1 with his Miasma Pestilence, because you also ignore any modifiers to the attack's hit roll. So
there was one thing that I wanted to check. It gets better, guys, right? An unmodified wound roll of a 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target. Do you want to read the rest of that sentence, Aaron?
Oh, in addition to any normal
damage. In addition to any normal damage.
Yeah, you get the mortals and you get the damage.
Yeah. But remember we were saying, guys, when you fire a 10-man unit, say you shoot a 1 target on it, because obviously sometimes you're not going to want to split the shots. You might have enough firepower to kill other things that you go, right, I don't need to do 6 mortal wounds to 3 different units. I want this one thing very
guarantee dead. 6.
At that point, you can shoot that thing and go, right, you're going to take 6 mortal wounds for sure, but I'm going to shoot every gun at you because obviously the extra wounds that you can do, right?
What's the AP of a hotshot las gun, Manny? Imagine we're shooting Abaddon.
You're shooting Abaddon, right? It's AP2.
AP2. So he's got a 3-up.
Hotshot las guns at AP2.
He's got a 3-up.
Yeah,
against
not a 2-up.
8 million shots that are shooting him, ignoring his face cap.
So say you got 30 shots, like with the combo that we were talking about, you can get 30 shots from the squad, right? Now say you're hitting on 3s. Rerolling ones. Say you've got rerolling ones. Let's not put full rerolls on. Let's just
even though you can, because we have Leonidas.
You can. Okay, let's do it with Leonidas.
You have full rerolls. He's right there.
So if you pop 2 CP, right, and you use overcharged las cells, and you use, keep forgetting what it's called, ingrained precision. So if you use those 2, only cost you 2 CP, right? And I'm saying only because the situations you're going to use that in is going to be insane.
Yeah.
Right? So it only costs you 2 CP. For what it does, only is the correct word to use. Only 2 CP. And basically, from those 30 shots, you're going to roll 10. Yeah. 5 ups.
As Gareth said, assuming there's no other orders, because you can give other orders. +1 hit and +1 AP.
Oh, no, we're doing this with first rank, second rank.
Oh, you're doing first rank, second rank. So
we're doing this with first rank, second rank, right? Because heavy actually, am I making that a little worse, to be honest?
Is that better than +1 to hit and AP?
No, as in, yeah, hot shot las guns are rapid fire 1. Yes, so they're only 2 shots each. So yes, if you use the order for lookout, sir, it makes them heavy 3. That's why you get 30 shots.
Yeah, but then take aim is +1 hit, +1 AP, right?
Yeah. No, this is better.
Is this better? Math-wise? Okay.
Yeah, an extra 10 shots.
Yeah,
it's definitely better. So you do that, guys, and it gets 10 extra shots. And it doesn't affect hotshot volley guns. So your hotshot volley guns still get 4 shots.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, they don't get 3.
Yes. So your worse guns get 3 shots each, and your better gun stays at 4 shots.
Right.
So that's pretty good, right? So you're firing 30 shots here, guys. You're going to get 10 5-ups, right? And obviously, oh, Aiden's done like a super chat, I think.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Aiden, you absolute hero! That's our first ever super chat on this stream.
Yeah, let's go.
Yes, Aiden, you absolute hero. Love to Aiden.
Big love.
He says, near Finial, I set my las gun from stun to kill. Amazing. I set my las gun from stun to kill. I love it. But yeah, so I mean, you can re-roll everything with Leonidas, even hits, successful hits.
You want those 5s?
Yeah, so fish for fight, especially if you're shooting something like Abaddon. Abaddon or Mortarion, guys, where you're like wounding on 6s, right? You got more chance of re-rolling all your hit rolls and getting 5s to hit, right? So imagine, guys, you get 10, then you re-roll the 20 that didn't wound, and you get another 7. If this wouldn't cap, you would have just done 17 mortal wounds to Morty. How insane is that, right? So now you understand
He fails one
why a
save and he's
unit.
dead.
Yeah. So now you understand why it's capped.
Oh, that's why, isn't it?
You get what I mean? Like this unit, for 100 points, can just do 17 mortal wounds.
You know,
right?
I have a
To
feeling.
a Titan.
Maybe before, because I know the Guard Codex was like delayed. Maybe it wasn't capped originally.
Maybe it wasn't capped, and that's one of the reasons that this codex is delayed, right? But yeah, so, but even with the cap, right?
Yeah.
We've just done 17 wounds
And
to
6 mortals.
Mortarian.
Wait, have we just done 6 more to Abaddon? Is he on 3 wounds left?
Yes.
Okay.
But he's taking
17 saves.
no more
Oh, more because of the 6.
because he's taking 17, right? But that's just 5s and 6s to hit.
Oh yeah, you have 6s to wound as well.
Yeah, but we've just re-rolled 20 fails, and we've got 7 5s and 6s.
So we have
But we'll have
30.
another 7 3 and 4s.
Yeah.
So those 7 get to roll to wound, and you should get another 1 or 2. So it's like 18 or
18
19.
to
Say 18.
3-up saves.
Say 18. 18 3-ups. How many should you fail?
You should. That's what 12.
6.
6. Yeah, 6 fails and 12 passes. So you've done 12 wounds to Abaddon.
Abaddon.
So he's over dead.
He can't
And
ignore anything.
You've almost killed Morty's
No.
down to 6.
You've done more to Mortarian. Mortarian would only have a 4-up in one against that.
Oh yeah, because he's 3. He's a
It's
3
a
up.
3-up save.
So you kill Abaddon with 3 like rerolls and stuff. He's over dead.
Yeah, Abaddon's over
fully
dead.
dead.
Now
And then
you've
you've done
just
9
done
wounds.
6 mortal
And
wounds
9 wounds.
to Mortarian.
And we did 18, right? So 9 more. So 6 and 9. So we've just done 15. He's on 3 wounds left from a 100-point Cascan unit.
From a 100-point unit.
Mortarian is on 6 wounds. And then your other infantry squad.
This is a 450-point
He's on
Mortarian.
3 wounds. He's on,
That's
3
mental,
wounds.
man. It's insane,
From
right?
a 100-point Cascan unit.
Come on,
Next
guys.
to some knob.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just insane. That needs to change.
Yeah,
that
you
definitely
really think
needs
about
to change.
that. Yeah, that's crazy. Or Bloodthirster now is like which has a 3-up save as 4-up save always, right? As well, same thing, 4-up save. You know, you've just done.
He's just taken
He's taken 15.
the same amount of wounds. 15 wounds.
He's down to 5. A Bloodthirster. He's down to 5. A 350-point Bloodthirster.
Yeah, because you've just ignored the face cap.
And all this is 4-up.
You've just ignored the face cap. How bonkers is that, man?
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely
You
crazy.
almost
I
kill
think
Morty
that's
and
so
you just kill it. Oh, come on.
so crazy. Yeah, so that's something you can do. Just use a 100-point unit to kill something that's like 500 points out the game. So now we're starting to realize why this book is so good, right?
Yeah.
Now the one other thing I want to cover, because we have been covering data sheets as we've been
bit by
talking,
bit,
right? We have been talking about the units that are good and why they're so good and the amount of shots they can do and all of that kind of stuff. So the only things we want to cover now are orders, right? We just want to talk through the orders a little bit, and we'll have a little look at Leonidas because he's an absolute beast and he's in. And that's all we're going to do today, guys. So because we were just going to tell you about the stuff that's good in the meta right now. So we've talked about a lot of the stuff that is going to be good in the meta right now, right? Aiden says, for Manny, I ran your sister's list at a GT. Thank you for helping me understanding. Yeah, no worries, man. Sisters are absolutely awesome. I do want to note, Morven Val was more than time in all instances of the GT.
It's more than time.
It's more than time. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I love Val and Celestine. So good.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, so the orders, Aaron.
There are 3 different types of orders. There's
Yes.
regimental, perfectus, and the mechanized. So different units can get affected by different ones. Correct?
Commissars get perfectus orders.
Commissars get perfectus.
I actually quite like them.
Do you?
I actually quite like them.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to take a commissar.
Obviously, I'm taking a tank commander, and then we're taking the normal dudes, the regimental guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't really want to take a commissar just for it because some of them are situational. I like them, but they're situational. But my dude over here, my favorite character that I was talking about,
He knows everything.
Mr. Leonidas.
He knows
He
everything.
knows them all.
He knows all the orders.
He knows all of them, even prefectus orders.
He knows
So the
every single
situational
one.
ones I can use by having just Leonidas in my army. And you know what one of my favorite situational ones is, Aaron?
What is it?
Remain vigilant, mate. Until the start of your next command phase, enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot be set within 12 inches of this unit. Now, what's special about orders, Aaron? Shall I tell you what's special about orders? Yep. They explode. guys.
essentially.
Auras explode. It's called regimental tactics.
This, yeah.
Yeah, but this is if every model from your army has that Astra Militarum keyword. So
only
this is
mono buff.
why you are not going to want to
This
see.
is your mono buff.
But it's huge.
Yeah.
Right? Each time an officer from your army issues a regimental or prefectus order to a unit with this ability, you can select one or more other friendly platoon units within 6 inches of that unit. Those platoon units are also affected by that order. So every flipping platoon unit within 6 inches of the one you target is affected by that. lucky Solar's in your army then, Manny. Lol. Yeah, man. I love Solar. And this is one of the reasons why, man. That's huge, right? So imagine going, right, in the command phase, I'm going to pick this guard unit here, and they're within range of all my other guard units, right? So that one, I'm gonna give it remain vigilant. So you can't deep strike within 12 of them. Then that bounces onto every other unit, and then they will advance and go, right, cool. Your Gene Stealer Corps army, screwed. Yep. Every unit coming in from reserve comes in 12 away. Oh, and by the way, that one unit that you really want in, yeah, that one's not coming in anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's huge, right?
That drill unit, go away. And then everyone else, you can't charge.
Imagine using Remain Vigilant against an entire army that now relies on deep striking in close.
We just mentioned that there was a certain bloodthirster who's very sad that he's going to lose his face cap.
Now his mates are very sad. Friends. Now his friends are sad as well. Yeah, imagine trying to use demons now with that.
One of them just ain't coming on with the officer of the fleet, and then the rest of them just can't charge. And because it can't be set within 12, you can't even bring flamers down and shoot.
Imagine if you were using something like 40 bloodletters, right, which is quite common in the tournament scene right now.
Yeah.
One of your units of flamers in reserve, which is again very common in the tournament scene, and a bloodthirster in reserve. That's the typical amount of units that people normally deep strike, right?
Yep.
40 bloodletters, right? Imagine this, Aaron. 40 bloodletters, a bloodthirster, and a unit 6 flamers. That's what's in reserve, right?
Yes, that's it.
So you look at that and you go, right, those 40 bloodletters that want to charge me are now 12 away. So they can't charge anyone.
Over 12. They can't declare charge.
Well done. That bloodthirster, I'm going to let it come in. But it's coming in 12 away, so it cannot declare a charge against anybody.
Yep.
And it's too tall to be obscuring, so I know it's dead next turn because I can ignore the face cap.
It's gone.
Right? That's gone. Well done. And your 6 flamers, they can come in another turn.
They also, even if they come in, they can't even be in within 12. You can't shoot them.
Yeah, they can't be in within 12 either.
So you're like, you can come in, but you're not shooting. Or add a spend 2 CP, and you're not coming in anyway.
It's huge, right?
It's so funny.
Absolutely massive.
It's so funny.
I really like Remain Vigilant. But like we say, it's situational against certain armies.
The biggest thing about Remain Vigilant is that what we mentioned earlier was that the strat can't be used turn 3, right? But this can always be done turn 3. Which means that if your opponent decides to have anything on their board, anything in reserve at turn 3, it's not getting to charge.
Yeah, it's coming in 12 and it's not.
So you can never, against guard, pretty much, you're never going to be able to turn 3 come in for reserve and charge. Because they will always be able to just do that and just stop you, which is huge. And it's an order, right? So you can just do it every turn. You know, like it's it's so big against deep strike armies like GSC, like demons, etc. Yeah, it's
crazy, right?
Tau lists are taking a little EM scrambler guy to do it, right? Or incursors to do it. This is just like all of your army can be changed to do it if you do it well. You know,
it's pretty mad, right? And here's one thing, guys. Just wanted to have a look. One or more of the friendly platoon units. Just want to check something, Aaron.
It's very silent. It's very
ominous. I know. I'm gonna. If I hit you with this, you're gonna love it. Like you're actually gonna love it.
Oh,
I need to just see if it works, and then foil my plans if you can, Aaron. Break my dreams if you want to.
I like cheese. Oh.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Lord Solar Leonidas, right? This model knows all the orders. In your command phase, it can issue up to 3 orders. In addition to the normal units, this is what I wanted to say. In addition to the normal units that can be selected for regimental and prefectus orders, this model can issue regimental and prefectus orders to friendly infantry officer and militarum auxiliary units. So he can issue orders to infantry officers.
Okay.
Now, remember one unit I was just telling you about that you want to absolutely maximize the shit out of on its auras? a platoon command squad, right? Right?
Right.
Platoon command squad.
Okay, I'm trying to see what this is.
Here, look, see, a platoon command squad.
Yep.
Officer.
Yep, they have the officer keyword.
Yeah.
And they are infantry.
So yeah, because the commander has the officer keyword, but that means the unit has the officer keyword, right?
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
I think that's how it works.
Yep. Unless stated otherwise.
And they're infantry regimental units, whatever. So I actually think Leonidas can do remain army.
Yes.
Because we might go, that's very situational because how often is one of your guard squads going to be within range of every other guard squad in the command phase? Because before, guys, you could move all the units in your army, move them so that they were within range of each other, and then do it because orders were done in the shooting phase. But now they're done in the command phase, but that unit's got lookout, sir. That platoon command squad.
You ain't targeting that unit.
It's got lookout, sir, so it can be chained between your entire army, not get targeted, and then you can go, right, yeah, Leonidas is ordering that unit, so it hits everyone. That's a beast, right? I thought you'd really like that, so that's what I'm thinking. Now, is there any reason why you can't do that, guys?
Nope.
If there is, hit me with it, man.
That's how it is. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Sylvester saying there. Like the book isn't broken. Like infantry squads aren't, but when you start stacking all the buffs on them and all the orders and everything you can give them and the strats and everything, then it's like units that are so cheap can do so much more than they're worth. They're pushing way above their weight.
Yeah. If issuing a regimental or prefectus order, select one friendly platoon unit within 6 inches of the officer's unit. If you're going to mechanize of that officer's unit, right?
Caskins are 100.
So it's a platoon
Blade
unit.
150.
So normally you can do it on a platoon unit. I mean, they might even have a platoon keyword, right? Oh, sorry, I've just gone past them. They're HQs, aren't they?
No.
Are they HQs? They are HQs, right? Platoon command squad. Yeah.
They don't have the platoon, but they have the infantry and officer keyword.
Exactly.
These
so
are keywords. It's in the unit, right?
Yeah,
the unit.
That's the thing. So they don't have the platoon keyword, but they have the officer keyword.
And infantry, yeah.
And that to me says that when he can do it to officers, he can do it to that unit now.
Yep.
Right? Which is massive.
It's unless they specify otherwise. That's why when Tau first came out, putting drones on a unit technically gave it the fly keyword until they said that's not how they stopped that working. But because just giving keywords gives you a keyword.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they gain the character keyword and they gain the infantry officer keyword.
Yeah.
So yes, he can order him.
It's beast, right? It's absolutely beast. Aiden says off topic, so answer if you want to. Okay, it's okay, we can. Don't feel pressured. What is your favorite worst unit?
I
in
know
40K?
mine.
Go on.
It is the it's the big spore mine in Tyranids. What's it called? The mucilid spore. The mucilid spore, it's like 20 points, and it blows up for D6 or D3+3, and they you can deep strike them and they can come in turn 1.
So why is that bad?
Because people don't use it. They say, oh, they're terrible. They don't get any bonuses. They don't get any unit bonus. But I think they're actually quite good because you can have like a unit of 3 for 60 points.
So Aaron has totally misunderstood the question. Aaron has just picked an underrated unit that he thinks is amazing.
The question?
No, the question is, what is your favorite unit that's shit?
Oh.
What is your favorite worst unit in 40k?
Oh.
Which of the units
that
is one of the worst units in 40k?
You answered.
He's just picked an underrated unit that he actually thinks is great.
I misunderstood the question. I thought it was like, one of the worst units that you actually like. Right, go on. What do you think?
Right.
I'll think.
For me, it's got to be my boy over there.
Well, Stomper.
The Stomper.
He's great. What do you
That's
mean?
my boy. That's my boy over there, man. He's not very good right now, but I love a Stomper.
You know, Stompers are really
I'm
cool,
sad.
actually. I love Stompers.
I'm an orc.
I have to say,
Orc through and through. Orc till I die.
Before I played competitive, the unit that I always had in games was my Gargantuan Squigger.
Nice.
I always use my guy. I got him commissioned, painted, beautifully done, and he's terrible now. So in that sense, it would be the Gargantuan Squigger because it's a beautiful model. It's so cool charging with this elephant thing.
See, guys.
But it's too big. It's not good. It's so many points.
Or isn't it funny how they're both orc choices?
But the thing with the orcs, right, is that there's so many cool units that are terrible. Like the Mecha Dread is really cool as well.
Yeah.
Well, Helldrakes are not technically shit.
They're not that bad actually. They have got some options.
They're a bit expensive for what they do. But remember, like there are aircraft in the meta right now, like Harpies and like Sunsharks, and Helldrakes can threaten them. And Baleflamers are good weapons as well. With Let the Galaxy Burn as well, and they give some air threat for chaos. They're not great, but they're not, I think, terrible.
Yeah, they're not terrible. They're not terrible. I do have to
Squiggles
agree
are
with
terrible.
that. Yeah, so there you have it, guys. Orders, the way that they can be used are absolutely amazing.
Yep.
Right? Like 150 points for a flying Glasgow. Love it. Yeah, so it's the way that they can be used. And I have to totally agree. The book itself is not broken or doesn't appear to be broken. But when you start stacking some of these things on there, they become a little bit too good for their points.
Yes.
Like the fact that these 65-point unit, this 100-point unit,
That's good.
this 100-point unit, you look at their data sheet, they're okay. For 100 points, they're okay. They're not broken,
had
right?
no orders and no strats and no
Exactly.
relics.
They're not broken. They're okay for 100 points. But the amount of buffs you can put on them is what is a bit broken.
Yeah.
Right? Like that is...
Yeah.
This 100-point unit would probably do a wound or two to Mortarion. I'm not even joking. They would do like a wound or
Without
two to
orders,
Mortarion.
without the relics.
But
without
when you go,
strats.
they've got born heroes on them. They're going to jump out of a vehicle and do this, and then jump back into it. They're gonna, they're gonna have all these strats
They
being
ignore
used
the
on
face
them.
caps, they auto wound on 5s, they do mortals, they have 4 rerolls to hit on them. It's all that, and the fact that you're not even
stack all of that, and then they put first rank, second rank on them, and they fire 30 shots instead of 20.
And it's only 2 CP, a relic that is affecting loads of things in your army, so it's not just that one unit, and rerolls from the guy you're gonna take anyway. It's not like I'm putting all these buffs specifically for this. It's like no, that'll happen in the game quite a lot, you know.
For sure.
Like that's my issue with something like demons, right? Demons, not only are they a bit overcosted, like your regular infantry, there's very little support for them. There's very little strats. There's very little relics to work with them. Very little warlord traits. It's just kind of they are what they are. Here we have not overpriced guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're not over like 65 points for an infantry squad. Like when you can take special weapons or heavy weapons, it's not overpriced. And then everything else means that they're pushing like way above their weight. A 100-point unit is almost killing a 450-point Mortarion by themselves.
It's pretty mental.
That's where it's like, what?
That's where you're like, what's going on?
You'll take this to an event, and you're taking an opponent, right? Even if not in the top meta, right? Where someone will take Mortarion, they'll run Mortarion at you because they're like, oh, I'm going to hit the guard unit, and then you'll come out with this Cascan unit, almost drop into 3 wounds and like that's just average rolling.
Oh my god!
And then you shoot one tank at Mortarion and just kill him, and you're like, oh, okay,
yeah. 100-point unit and just a tank.
And a
just
tank
killed
shot
Mortarion.
because on average, kill him. Has just killed Mortarion.
I remember when people used to shoot entire guard armies at Mortarion and leave him on like 4 or 5 wounds.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, okay, he's done his bullet wound.
He's done his bullet wound. I have
magnet thing for a turn.
1,500 points to go get you.
And now you're like, I'm going to shoot like a 200-point tank at you and a 100-point unit. 300 points has just killed Mortarion. Right?
Yeah.
Like a tank commander with Gatekeeper plus that unit, Mortarion's dead.
Yep.
Quite reliably.
Reliably dead. It's not like, oh, he could have. No, he probably will die.
Quite reliably dead. Yeah. Because that Gatekeeper's strength 9 as well. Wounded on 3.
Wounded on 3s. And with lots of shots. Rerolling.
Reroll 1 to hit on itself.
Exactly. You can.
How beast is that, right? How beast is that? Aiden says, are you guys going to run death strikes with your guard list?
I am. Not in tournaments, but in reports.
Aaron is, I'm thinking about it. I might still lean towards it. In reports, yeah, but for competitive tournaments, I don't think I'm going to. No, I don't think I'm going to. Actually, we're not going to talk about it, guys. We have just spent a long time. We spent an hour and a half on this stream for you guys. We went through this awesome book. Go and tell all your friends about it, guys. If you're enjoying the content, like we say, hit the subscribe and like button in the notifications button in the corner over there, so you know each time I release one of these videos. And if you want more content like this, we do a Let's Talk Tactics every single Tuesday, and it's in this kind of format.
Yep.
Awesome banner, nice mic. We talk to all of the audience and everything. Then head over to glasshammergaming.co.uk and join the elite, and you get amazing discounts off our web store. You get more content like this, in-depth detail, about the meta. You have a Thursday section where me and Aaron go live, and you can come on and ask us any questions you want. In like a live chat, you can join in. So that's quite a nice, like, community inclusive thing. And also, we are launching a Patreon, guys. So we've seen that you guys have really taken to the competitive battle report that we've started doing for the last 2 weeks. Those battle reports are some of the best we've ever done. Like they're doing, really well. Some of the best that we've ever done. They've had a great reception. You guys seem to be really, really liking them. Loads of positive comments. So in that light, we are going to be sticking to one competitive battle report every single week. And we are trying to add a narrative / casual. A narrative / casual play game once a week as well, where we literally just take the piss out of each other and have a laugh.
Because that's part of the best part of the game, right?
So that's what we're trying to accomplish as well for the channel. Now we're struggling a little bit for funds with that because, you know, we need nice terrain for that because we want this to appeal to a different, you know, kind of audience. So we want different terrain for that. There's going to be, you know, paying this guy over here more money to be editing that kind of content. He's bleeding me dry here, guys. The mosquito.
What am I bleeding
The mosquito. The mosquito is draining me. So yeah, guys, there's a lot of costs involved, and of course we need more casual units to the competitive ones that we have in all of our armies.
We realised we have a lot of units where we go, oh, let's build a fun army, but it ends up being a competitive army because that's what we have. We're like,
so we need to add, you know, we need to add to pretty much every army we have to make it suitable for more just relax, having a laugh kind of games. And then also we need to be playing different missions, so we need to get all those cards and stuff. So we need models. We need people to paint the models. We need someone editing these battle reports every single week. And then we need to find the time to be able to play those. So essentially, we are going to be setting up a Patreon page, guys. And that Patreon will just be to support the narrative content. So if you guys like the idea of us doing some narrative content where we literally just take the piss out of each other and have a laugh, then be sure to check out our Patreon. It will be going up within the next month or so because we're trying to get these up, you know, by the end of the year, these extra battle reports. We think they'll be really cool, these narrative ones. So yeah, if you can support us, or if you want to see us playing more laid back games as well, in addition to the competitive ones, then, you know.
If you want to see Manny get his ass kicked by us, because we can do that in narrative. Oh, we can.
Yeah, guys, if you want to see more of that, then you know, go and support the Patreon for the narrative side of it. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching this. Of course, there will be a faction focus next week. We may even do a few more of these type streams. We may be doing one faction focus, and then we may be alternating between faction focuses and live streams every other week. We're going to have a bit of a look into that, or maybe every time there's a new release, we'll be doing a live stream, and every other week there'll be a faction focus. Just to, you know, the live stream might be a little bit of a break because elite members have the benefit of talking to us all the time, every Tuesday. So there you have it, guys. Thank you very much for watching today. We hope you've enjoyed this Codex review. Please leave us your feedback on how you found it and if you'd like more content like this. And hopefully our sound and internet connection was a lot better than our previous streams because we have invested a little bit more into that thanks to all the awesome elite members that we have. Thank you very much, guys, and good night.
Good night.